नमस्कार व्यूअर्स, हाजिर हूँ एक और एक्सीडेंट रादर मेजर एक्सीडेंट पे अपने व्यूज़ लेके और फिर वही मुद्दा ट्रॉली वाला जो मैं अक्सर बोलता रहता हूँ कि जब भी कोई गाड़ी गिरे तो पहले देखो ट्रॉली कौन सी है। एंड दिस एक्सीडेंट had a total number of 37 wagons which had derailed starting from the second from locomotive as the first derailed. तो इंजन से दूसरे नंबर की गाड़ी अगर पहली डिरेल्ड है और उसके बाद की 36 गाड़ियां साथ में गिर गई हों तो समझो मामला गड़बड़ है। What struck me? Catch hold of the first derailed wagon. Why should it derail? What are the possibilities of major issues with the trolley? What I gained was so startling, so surprising, and so investigative. Even I could not believe myself. Now I am telling you one by one how I proceeded in this accident through a video call. So here is the overview of the incident. This is the site of accident, and we can see the train through this tunnel, which is 157 meter long, and because the derailment was also in the tunnel, so the restoration too was quite a bit difficult one. The second wagon had derailed, dragged, followed by 36 wagons in the rear attached to this first derailed wagon, and this particular wagon was ROH'd on 12th of March this year. And as usual, whenever there is a derailment, my first question is, and the first desire is to know about the type of trolley which has been assembled with this particular wagon, and there it was everything. The trolley in the leading was Casnav NLV, and the second trolley was NLV HSV. This is high-speed trolley was assembled on it. So half of my work was done. Well, viewers, this is the wagon, second wagon and the first derailed wagon. This is its front trolley, and this trolley is Casnav 22 NLV. It's clearly mentioned here NLV. And let me move on to the second trolley. And for your kind information, these are two studs welded just to prevent this coming out. This is the packing to maintain the CBC height. Again, here we have got two packings given over here, and here also we have this packing. And this trolley is Casnav NLB HSB, which means high speed bogie. So we are clear now that there are two types of trolleys which have been used on it, and this is one is NLB in the lead, and the trailing trolley is Casnav NLB HSB, which is a high speed, and these are non-standard configured trolleys used, and this is not approved by any railway authority, either board or RDSO. So its combination is a total mismatch because it differs in the type of suspension system and the bogie clearances. So that's why these, this combination is not approved, not used, but maybe due to scarcity of trolleys or otherwise, this practice is going on, and I have found in many cases of derailment this combination I have detected, and when I was not getting a suitable reply. I went to RTI, the last, I mean, straw for me. Drowning and catches a straw, वैसा वाला हाल मेरा हो गया, and then I made an RTI to RDSO, and I'll show you what was the reply given to me. In my place also there had been derailments involving two types of trolley of the same wagon. It was in case of BTP and it was in case of bogie and wagons, ballast and wagons, and also box and wagons, and where I found all these. And whenever this was pointed out, in most of the cases, the inquiries were not finalized or kept under the load of other files. I made an RTI, no reply was given from the concerned railway. Then I made an RTI to RDSO online, and this was my RTI application. And just to read whatever is the content of my text, what I asked for information was that in a recent accident case involving a BTP and bogie and wagon, it was observed that two different types of trolleys, Casnab 22 NLB, Casnab HS, were used on the same wagon, and kindly arranged to provide the relevant drawings, letter of authority, or any modification instruction issued by RDSO or the railway board, along with the necessary approval from RDSO permitting the use of both Casnab, HS and NLB trolleys on the same wagon, be it BTP and bogie owners. Requested for their urgent attention and reply. So this was the reply given to me by RDSO. I am thankful to them. It is informed that RDSO has not issued any guideline, drawing or modification instruction permitting the use of two different type of trolley, namely Casnab NLB and Casnab 22HS on the same wagon. No approval has been granted by RDSO for such a configuration. I hope it's amply clear now that we are doing it on our own self, maybe due to less number of availability of trolleys or whatsoever. This mismatch is normally not officially or technically viable or permitted because of the different suspension system and different clearances of the trolley. Well, viewers, मैं आपको अवगत करा देता हूँ कि IRCA पार्ट 3 एंड पार्ट 4 में ना एक चैप्टर है जिसका हेडिंग ही है रिजेक्शन, एंड दैट इज चैप्टर 4। उसमें जितने भी पैराग्राफ, जितने भी लिस्टेड आइटम्स हैं जिसके आगे एस लगा है ना, एस मतलब सिक, वो पैरामीटर वाले वॉगन या कोच ट्रेन कॉम्पोजिशन में नहीं लगते। वो कौन सा पैरामीटर है ये मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ, जो अभी हमने पढ़ा है। ये जो सीबीसी हाइट 1120 मिली है ना, दिस फॉल्स अंडर रिजेक्शन, और इसका रूल कौन सा है मैं आपको वो भी बता देता हूँ। ये पार्ट 3 का रूल है आपका, एस उसके आगे प्रीफिक्स लगा 4.5.2, सो 1120 वाली गाड़ी तो आनी नहीं चाहिए कॉम्पिटिशन में। तो ये पहली वायोलेशन है। मैं दूसरी बोलूँगा, पहली, एक तरह की ट्रॉलियाँ नहीं, दो तरह की ट्रॉलियाँ नहीं लगती, दिस इज द सेकंड वायोलेशन। अब थर्ड में आ जाता हूँ और फोर्थ में जाता हूँ। Suspension spring deflection. Now let us see how it was, what we could measure. So again, trolley position condition on left hand side and right hand side. I'll show you the deflection what we had measured in loaded condition. This was 229, this is 223. Well, it is in the front trolley, and at tear load it was 262, 256. Now just see all this and keep in your memory. Now I will be giving you very startling revelations. Okay, just keep in mind, this is the rear trolley. This is in loaded condition. The deflection on the rear trolley is 24 mm. Look, this is more on this one. It is height is less, means it is more compressed. 24 mm more compressed this one, and this is okay, this is 14 and 9 mm only. Now see what does it give under tear weight. This is 269 on left hand side and this is 263. Now just imagine what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you is that this 263 is what? This is the spring height of the outer spring, 260. This is for Casnab HS. Now here we have got this HSB trolley. The free height is 260, mind you. And here under tear, which is 21 ton. How this height is coming to 63? More than the free height under tear load. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? And now if you asked our counterpart, the concerned department, to please share the free height of the springs, they will say no. They will say no. It is not in the performa, but they forget that in para 7 of the Railway Board's accident performa covering letter issued in the month of January 2019, that inquiry committee can go for any additional measurements required. So 100% the springs are of a category which does not belong to this. And this is why we say the incompatibility of two types of wagon being used on the same trolley, wherein the inner spring height here on NLB is 262, while here it is 243 max. It is 228 to 243, and on NLB it is 247 to 260 for the inner springs. while the outer spring is the same. So this is where the difference lies in. Same is the case with the clearances. Now we all know that even the center pivot and the side frame wear, the side wall, that also has a limit. The actual wall thickness was found 15 mm, and on one end it was 22. So 22 is normally perhaps overbuilt, because 19 is the maximum as per the standard pivot drawing. The drawing number also I have mentioned over here, and then this is an uneven wear on the pivot from 15 to 22. While 15, so 4 mm wear on the wall as well as at the seat is only permitted. So it has reached its maximum wear despite its overhauling being done in the month of March. And this is the drawing number. You can download, you can have it, you can see it. It's a worn out pivot. The excessive lateral clearances between the side frame and adapter was abnormally high. It was ranging from 55, 44, and likewise the maximum permissible is only 26 millimeter. And it is a critical defect. And if we summarize all these things, whatever we got, it's crystal clear. Incompatible bogies used, CBC height over permissible limit, suspension system totally inconsistent, center pivot worn out on the trolley which derailed, and grave violations of IRC and RDSO guidelines. So you touch anything, it's a problematic. Again, I mean, would like to brief you, but we got major things were no mixing of trolleys is permitted. This has been clarified by RDSO because the spring system, suspension system is different, and it is very well defined individually for NLB and high speed. CBC height, because of that, or maladjustments or whatsoever packing they have given, has gone beyond the range of maximum permissible, falling under rejection. सस्पेंशन सिस्टम का कोई कंसिस्टेंसी है नहीं, कुछ भी डिफ्लेक्शन दिया जा रहा है. सेंटर पिवट आपकी बोर्न आउट, इट हैज गॉट अ सेंट्रिक वियर दैट इंडिकेट्स दैट इट इज रनिंग बायस्डली, eccentrically exerting pressure to a particular side, most likely due to the poor deflecting characteristics of the suspension system provided on such trolley and wrong springs assembled. Then excessive wear on the adapter and side frame, axle box clearance, whatever we have recorded jointly, and thus this falls under rejection, white IRCA and RDSO guidelines. What else is required to prove that there are rejectable and attributable defects on this particular wagon, and in particular the rear HSB trolley? Now, if we just go in for the root cause, so to say, my personal conclusion over the parameters, whatever we could get onto through the joint recording. So this trolley is unauthorizedly mixed, causing instability, excess CBC height due to wrong suspension system used, and abnormally high lateral clearances, center pivot overbuild and eccentric wear. Then we have root cause poor ROH quality, procedural violations. So on going through, on seeing all these record measurements, what we can conclude? We can conclude this only. This is what we have got. And this is on the record. And in such cases, what we want is, we want additional measurements to further prove free height of the spring is most essential, and trammeling of the bogies as per figure 4 of G95. So we need to see the diagonal whether the distances are same within the plus minus 5 range or it's excessive. To see why the trolley went eccentric, why it exerted pressure laterally on the rails. So these are the additional measurements required to establish this case further. Although whatever we have got is sufficient, but still to further strengthen our point, these are essentially required. Well, viewers, we had been quite serious about whatever we have seen, and after seriousness we need to have a laughter dose as well. So पिछले ही दिनों में आपने देखा होगा कि पड़ोसी हमारे काफ़ी जीत के जश्न मना रहे थे कि जीत गए जीत गए जीत गए। तो क्या हुआ, हमने क्या किया था? हमने कुछ नहीं किया था, हमने सिर्फ उनका जल बंद किया था, है ना। तो एक्सीडेंट्स में भी ऐसे ही होता है। यहाँ दो पार्टियाँ रहती हैं, इंजीनियरिंग और मैकेनिकल वाले हमेशा अपने आप में जीते रहते हैं। तो इंजीनियरिंग वालों के पास क्या रहता है? उनके पास भी एक ही हथियार रहता है कि अपना जो है पानी बंद कर दो भैया, है ना। तो ऐसी नौबत ना आवे, तो उससे अच्छा है कि हम लोग बढ़िया से इसको जो है एक्सीडेंट को क्लियर किए, इसकी जो रिकॉर्डिंग्स हैं प्रॉपरली करें, and we just pinpoint so that it's not a case of any harjeet, it's a case of reduction of accidents on whatsoever account be it. And the inquiry is normally बिल्कुल ऊपर देख के ना की जाए, क्या चाहा जा रहा है, क्या मतलब what are the liking, what are the disliking, but this should be factually, and until and unless we go factually, we can't stop the derailments. And मैं आज भी कहता हूँ कि हर एक्सीडेंट इंजीनियरिंग के लिए नहीं होता है। अगर हम थॉरो हों अपने सब्जेक्ट में, if we keep even the basic knowledge about the rolling stock, and that is a must for every PV engineers, and that's why I have made this channel. Whatever I learned through all these notes, through these measurements, after comparing with the standard data provided in the codes and manuals of mechanical literature, I just try to be very honestly comparing the same without any objective of any individual insult to anyone. Well, friends, this was all about this. You can have your own opinion, you can have your own conclusions. Yes, thanks for watching, paying your attention, giving me your valuable time to watch this video. And I request you, those who have still not seen my channel, still not subscribed to my channel, please do it. It's your own channel, and for you only, for your juniors and seniors PV engineers, especially for those who are a part of the inquiry committee most of the time, be it JAG level or SAG level. So these technical points are most important, which we need to examine, which we need to think about, which we need to compare and get very near to the right root cause of the derailment. Thank you once again. Please do give your comments in the comment box, for which I shall remain ever thankful to you. And मेहनत लगती है तो एक thumbs up जरूर दीजिएगा. Thank you once again. Bye bye. Stay blessed.